rain. So this storm is symbolic of the destruction of the old order, i.e., the order which is characterized by the original sin. So the old order means that before the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, man was a sinner because he has inherited the original sin of Adam. Now, with the death of Jesus Christ, a new order came into being. So the resurrection of Jesus Christ is symbolic of ushering, i.e., of introducing a new order into being. So here a new spiritual life comes into being. So man is free of the original sin. Okay?
Exactly.
So man is purged of his original sin, and the storm in King Lear is symbolic of the destruction of the order that is controlled by his evil daughters.
Yes.
Okay? So the
Okay.
order that will be destroyed is the state of nature.
Yes.
And the new order that will come into being will be introduced when Edgar becomes
The
the
king.
king of
Exactly.
England. Yes, and Edgar embodies all the values that King Lear believes in.
Exactly. Thanks.
Not at all. Any more questions? Okay, I will go back to the beginning of Act 3, Scene 4. Okay? Act 3, Scene 4. So the stage direction reads, the heath in front of a hovel. So King Lear is on the heath in front of a hovel, i.e. in front of a hut or a cottage. Enter Lear, Kent, and Fool. Okay? Can you find it? The very beginning of Act 3, Scene 4. I may skip the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say 6 lines. Can't I had rather break mine own, good my lord enter. Can you find it? It is line 5 in my edition.
Yes, doctor, we find it.
Okay, so Kent says, King Lear asks him, wilt break my heart? Kent, I had rather break mine own, i.e. mine own heart. I want to comment on mine from a linguistic point of view. This has to do with the possessive adjectives of early modern English. My, mine, and thy, thy, thine. These are called possessive adjectives or possessive pronouns. Now, in early modern English, which is the English that was spoken by Shakespeare, if the possessive pronoun is followed by a word that starts with a vowel, if the word that follows the possessive pronoun starts with a vowel, then the possessive pronoun will be either mine or thine. So here, King Lear, Kant says, I'd rather break mine own heart. So own starts with a vowel, that's why he uses mine. Mine ends with a consonant. Okay? Now, if the following word starts with a consonant, we use my or thy, like my heart, thy heart. Okay? So this is something linguistic. So I wanted to share it with you. Now I'll go back to the text. Lear, thou thinkst 'tis much that this contentious storm invades us to the skin. So 'tis to thee, but where the greater malady is fixed, the lesser is scarce felt. Now here he is referring to the malady, i.e. to the disease that he has in his mind, his madness, in other words. Thou shun a bear, but if thy flight lay toward the roaring sea, thou'd meet the bear in the mouth. When the mind's free, the body's delicate. So there is a direct relationship between the mind and the body. Okay? So when the mind is free, the body will be sensitive. Now, King Lear's mind is not free. He is totally mad. So that's why he cannot feel the effect of is not functioning properly. His body doesn't feel any pain. The tempest in my mind doth from my senses take all feeling, else save what beats there. Okay? So here the mind is the controller of the human life. So if the mind is sick, the functioning of the body is shut down. Filial ingratitude. Here he is referring to the ingratitude of his two daughters. So filial refers to children. Filial ingratitude. Is it not as this mouth should tear this hand for lifting food to it? But I will punish home. No, I will weep no more. In such a night to shut me out. Then he addresses the storm. To storm, pour on, I will endure. In such a night as this, O Regan Goneril, your old kind father, whose frank heart gave you all, oh, that way madness lies. Let me shun that, no more of that. I want to comment on this. Your old kind father, whose frank heart gave you all, oh, that way madness lies. Yes, when the heart controls man's life, he becomes totally mad. Okay? So here King Lear is saying that he has made a mistake, and his mistake is that he has allowed his emotions, his feelings, in other words, his heart, to control his life and his decisions. So he has made his own decision according to the dictates of the heart. So that's why he has become mad. Okay? So the heart is the source of emotions, of passions, of feelings. So if man's life is controlled by feelings, he becomes mad. So the mind is the main pivot, P-I-V-O-T, is the main pivot of man's life. Okay, I may skip some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some 6 lines. I will read what I read at the end of the last session. Poor naked wretches. It is line 28. Poor naked wretches, wheresoever you are, that bide the pelting of this pitiless storm. How shall your houseless heads and unfed sides, your looped and windowed raggedness, defend you from seasons such as these? Oh, I have taken too little care of this. Take physic pomp. Expose thyself to feel what wretches feel, that thou mayst shake the superflux to them and show the heavens more just. So here Lear is saying that as a king, he was not aware of the miserable conditions of the life of the poor people. Okay? So this is another kind of understanding that King Lear acquires. So he acquires the knowledge that if man's life is controlled by emotions, he becomes mad. This is number one. Number two, King Lear realizes that there are social injustices in the universe. Okay? So social injustice and social inequality loom large in the kingdom. Okay? So King Lear realizes that as a king, he was not aware of the social injustice and the social inequality that loom large in his kingdom. Okay? Now, as a mad person, he sees into the true nature of his kingdom. There is discrimination between the rich and the poor. The rich live in luxury, whereas the poor live in poverty. Okay? And according to this passage, social injustice is caused by man himself. Social injustice is caused by man himself because man doesn't take care of the poor. That's why King Lear says, I have taken too little care of this, i.e., he has taken too little care of the poor. Take physic pomp, i.e., take lessons from this storm, you rich person. Expose thyself to feel what wretches feel, that thou mayst shake the superflux to them and show the heavens more just. Therefore, when King Lear is reduced to the level of a beggar, he becomes conscious of the miserable conditions of the life of the poor. So that's why he says, expose thyself to feel what wretches feel. Okay? So in other words, the rich live in ivory towers. The rich live in ivory towers. In other words, they isolate themselves from the poor. Okay? So at the end, King Lear says, shake the superflux, i.e., if the rich man sees or experiences the miserable conditions of the poor, he will give the extra clothes and food and properties that he has to the poor. And in this case, he will show that the gods are just. Okay? So according to King Lear, social injustice and social inequality are not caused by heavens. And here heavens means i.e. the gods, by God. Social injustice and social inequality are not caused by God. Okay? They are caused by man himself. So that's why at the beginning of the discussion of the play, I said madness gives King Lear insight into the true nature of things. Okay? So madness in literature gives the mad person access to new knowledge. Okay? So it is not a physical, a biological, or a psychological problem. It is in fact a means to understanding the human life. It is a means of understanding the secrets of the human life. Okay? So that's why later on Edgar will say reason in madness. Is it clear?
Yes, doctor.
Clear.
Yes, doctor.
Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, we are still reading Act 3, Scene 4. You may skip a page. Okay. Now King Lear meets Edgar on the heath, and Edgar is disguised as a mad man. Okay, it is line 60. Can you find it? Line 60. King Lear says, "What have his daughters brought him to this pass?" Okay, so you may skip some 20 lines, I think. What have his daughters brought him to his pass? So here he is referring to Edgar. Edgar behaves as a madman. He is naked except for a piece of cloth that covers his loins. Lear, what have his daughters brought him to this pass? To Edgar, couldst thou save nothing? Wouldst thou give them all? Now King Lear is obsessed with the idea that he has given everything to his daughters and they have reduced him to nothing. So now he thinks that Edgar has given everything to his daughters and they have reduced him to a poor, naked, mad man. Fool, nay, he reserved a blanket, else we had been all shamed. Lear, now all the plagues that in the pendulous air hang fated over men's faults light on thy daughters. Kent, he hath no daughters, sir. Now King Lear calls down on the daughters of Edgar, and you know that Edgar doesn't have daughters. Lear, death traitor, nothing could have subdued nature to such a lowness but his unkind daughters. Is it the fashion that discarded fathers should have thus little mercy on their flesh, judicious punishment, was this flesh begot those pelican daughters. Those pelican daughters. Here King Lear is describing his daughters as ferocious animals that have feasted, that have preyed on their father. Preyed, P-R-E-Y-E-D. Feasted, F-E-A-S-T-E-D. Okay? Now the pelican is a bird which feeds its own little with its own blood. So it sacrifices itself for the sake of its little chicks. So King Lear takes the story of the pelican to highlight the animalistic nature of his daughters. Okay? So his daughters emerge as ferocious, as strong animals that have feasted on their father's body. Okay? And that's why earlier on he refers to their filial ingratitude. Okay? So they are not grateful to their father. And their lack of gratitude has led them to violate the natural order. Their ingratitude has led them to violate the natural order. The father has become a son and the daughter has become a mother. Okay? Then I will skip some lines. It is line 76. Edgar, take heed of the foul fiend. Obey thy parents. Keep thy word justly. Swear not. Commit not with man's sworn spouse. Set not thy sweet heart on proud array. Tom's a cold. Again here Edgar refers to the Ten Commandments. Obey thy parents. It is the same as respect, honor your parents. Keep thy word, i.e. don't commit perjury. Swear not. Don't swear. Don't commit adultery. Commit not with man's sworn spouse, i.e. don't commit adultery with a married woman. Set not thy sweet heart on proud array. Don't be proud. This is one of the 7 deadly sins. Then King Lear says, what hast thou been? Edgar mentions different jobs. I will not read all of them. I will comment on the sins that he mentions. It is line, let's say, 87 or 85. One, i.e. I am one that slept in the contriving of lust and waked to do it. Lust is one of the 7 deadly sins. Wine loved I deeply, dice dearly, and in woman out paramored the Turk. I.e. he is lecherous. Again, lechery is one of the 7 deadly sins. False of heart, light of ear, bloody of hand, i.e. he is a killer, a murderer. Hog in sloth, and sloth means laziness, and sloth is one of the 7 deadly sins. Fox in stealth. He is cunning. Wolf in greediness. Greed is one of the 7 deadly sins. Dog in madness. Lion in prey. So here Edgar refers to the 10 commandments and to the 7 deadly sins. Okay? So one man violates the 10 commandments and commits the 7 deadly sins. He reduces himself to the level of an animal. Yes, Edgar looks like an animal. He looks like a man living in the state of nature, therefore violating the commandments of religion reduces man to the level of a creature living in the state of nature. And I said last time, religion is one of the social institutions that control man's conduct. Okay? So by setting aside the teachings of religion, man shifts from a civilized universe to a natural order. Okay? Again, this statement of Edgar's highlights the fact that Edgar is a noble character. Edgar is a noble character that deserves to take over from King Lear and from his evil daughters, i.e. to become the king. Okay? And again, this idea shows us that the king, according to Shakespeare, should uphold or should be a Christian figure. The king, according to Shakespeare, should be a Christian figure, i.e. he should be a ruler who upholds the teachings of Christianity. Of course, Shakespeare is a Christian man. And the concepts that King Lear and Edgar uphold are Christian values. Okay? So the king should be a Christian figure according to Shakespeare. And the same applies to the play of Macbeth. Macbeth violates the teachings of Christianity. Malcolm becomes the king at the end. Malcolm upholds the 7 virtues and avoids the 7 deadly sins. Okay? I'm not going to read the rest of Edgar's statement. It is clear. Then King Lear says, why? Thou wert, again wert means i.e. thou were better. And this is early modern English. Why? Thou wert better in thy grave. Again, look at thy grave. Thy is followed by grave. So grave starts with a consonant. So that's why King Lear uses thy, not thine. Thy means your. Why? Thou wert better in thy grave than to answer with thy uncovered body this extremity of the skies. Is man no more than this? Consider him well. Thou owest i.e. you owe the worm no silk, the beast no hide, the sheep no wool, the cat no perfume. Here's 3 on us are sophisticated. On here means of. Also in early modern English, on was used instead of. Here's 3 on us are sophisticated. Thou art the thing itself. An accommodated man is no more but such a poor, bare forked animal as thou art. Of you landings, come unbutton here. Okay, here there is a contrast. Okay, Amir, I sent you the passage by WhatsApp. You may look at it. Okay, so why thou wert better in thy
Okay, I'm thankful, doctor. Thank you.
Okay, not okay. Lear, why thou wert better in thy grave than to answer with thy uncovered body this extremity of the skies? Is man no more than this? Okay, so now Edgar is naked. And King Lear is saying, is man no more than this? Consider him well. Thou owest the worm no silk, the beast no hide, the sheep no wool, the cat no perfume, i.e. Edgar seems to be a primitive man. So he has nothing to do with the luxuries of civilization. That's why King Lear says, thou owest the worm no silk, i.e. he doesn't wear silk clothes. The beast no hide, the sheep no wool, so he doesn't wear gorgeous clothes. The cat no perfume. Here's 3 on us are sophisticated, i.e. here there are 3 of us who are sophisticated, i.e. King Lear, Kant, and the fool. They are sophisticated, i.e. they are civilized. They have clothes on, unlike Edgar who is naked. Here's 3 on us are sophisticated. Thou art the thing itself. An accommodated man is no more but such a poor, bare, forked animal as thou art. So here King Lear is saying that if man is stripped of the luxuries and the borrowings of civilization, if man is stripped of the luxuries and borrowings of civilization, he becomes nothing but a bare, i.e. a naked, forked animal. Forked animal, i.e. an animal walking on, i.e. on 2 feet or on 2 legs. Okay, So man who is stripped of the luxuries and borrowings of civilization is nothing but a naked animal. So this is the contrast between man in the state of nature and man in the social order. Edgar represents man who is living in the state of nature. King Lear, Kant, and the Fool represent man who is living in the social order. So this is the difference between the state of nature and the social order. And King Lear comes to this realization. So he understands the differences between the state of nature and the social order. Okay? So that's why he says, thou art the thing itself, i.e. you are the thing itself, i.e. Edgar, who is naked, is the real man. He is the man who has nothing of the borrowings of civilization covering his body. Off, you landings, come unbutton here, tearing off his clothes. So King Lear wants to take off his clothes. He wants to take off the borrowings of civilization that differentiate him from Edgar. Is it clear?
Doctor, I have a question.
Okay, go on.
I didn't understand it well. Like, why Edgar is in the state of nature, while King Lear, a man with clothes in the social order.
Yes, I said at the very beginning, Gloucester wants to arrest Edgar because Edmund has told him that Edgar wants to kill him. Right? Now Edgar escapes. He runs to the jungle, to nature, and he disguises himself as a poor man. Okay? So in order not to be arrested, he disguises himself as a poor man. Is it clear?
Okay. Yes.
Now,
it is.
Edgar doesn't look like a civilized man, so he is totally naked.
Okay.
Save or except for a blanket or a piece of cloth that covers his waist. Okay?
Okay.
So he covers his nakedness with a blanket to show that he is a mad man. So he wants to behave as a madman so that he will not be found by the agents of his father. Okay? So here when Edgar takes off his clothes and puts aside the luxuries of civilization, King Lear associates him with the state of nature. Okay? So Shakespeare, through Edgar, who feigns to be mad, dramatizes man's condition when he lives in the state of nature. Okay? So Shakespeare, through Edgar, is saying that in the state of nature, man's life is similar to the life of an animal. Okay? So there is no difference between man and the animal in the state of nature. Okay? King Lear has his clothes on. The clothes are associated with civilization, with the social order. So King Lear realizes that they have borrowings. And I said the borrowings constitute what we call a second nature for man.
Yes.
Okay? So I said when man develops or emerges from the state of nature to the social order, he acquires new customs, new traditions, new conventions, new laws. All of these constitute a second nature. Okay?
Yes.
Man's life in the state of nature is his first nature. And his first nature is similar to the nature of an animal. So in the state of nature, man is an animal. The strong animal beats, controls the weak animal.
Yes.
Okay? Is it clear now?
Yes, it's clear. Thank you,
Okay.
doctor.
Yes. Okay, so now King Lear sees Edgar as the real man. So that's why he wants to take off his clothes. Okay, Act 3, Scene 7. Act 3, Scene 7. You may skip the first page, and the act and the scene takes place at Gloucester's castle. I told you last time there will be a war between the English army and the French army. The French army has come to England to save the king. Now Gloucester wants to take sides with King Lear, so that's why he tries to help him. Cornell and his wife Regan want to punish him because he has tried to help the king. And I told you that Edmund has betrayed his father. He told Cornell that his father is going to join the French army and he is going to house, i.e. to provide King Lear with a shelter. Okay? Now Cornell and his wife want to punish him. They want to pluck out the eyes of Gloucester, and in fact they do it. They pluck out the eyes of Gloucester. So you may skip the first, let's say, 2 pages. It is line, let's say, 55. Okay? Regan and her husband ask Gloucester about the whereabouts of King Lear, i.e. where he sent King Lear. He says to them he has sent him to Dover, and we know that Dover is a place in England, the French coast. Okay, Regan says to him, why for to Dover, sir? I.e., why did you send him to Dover? Can you find it? Gloucester says, because I wouldn't see thy cruel nails pluck out his poor old eyes, nor thy fierce sister in his anointed flesh stick boorish fangs. Okay, so here Gloucester refers to the anointed flesh, i.e. the anointed body of King Lear. Okay, the anointed body of King Lear. Okay, now according to the Elizabethans, the king is appointed by God. The king is appointed by God. So that's why when the king is killed, there is disorder, not only at the level of the state, but also at the cosmic level, i.e. at the level of the stars. Okay? So the stars condemn the crime of killing the king because the king has been appointed by God himself. Now, the fact that his flesh is anointed highlights this idea. Okay? So King Lear is a king who has been appointed by God. This is number one. Number two, I want to comment on the animal imagery in this statement. Gloucester says, because I wouldn't see thy cruel nails pluck out his poor old eyes, nor thy fierce sister in his anointed flesh stick boorish fangs. Here we have nails and we have fangs. This is the animal imagery that I want to comment on. Animals have nails and fangs, and they use them as defense mechanisms, i.e. as means, let's say, of defending themselves. They also use them to fight other animals. So Gloucester describes Regan and Goneril as animals. Okay? So boorish fangs. Boorish is an adjective derived from the word boar, and boar is a kind, and fang is a kind of tooth, and this refers to the long teeth of animals. Okay? So Goneril and Regan are described as animals having nails and fangs. And this highlights their animalistic nature. This description of Regan and Goneril highlights their animalistic nature. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so this is
Yes,
another
doctor.
example that highlights the animalistic nature of Regan and Goneril. Then you may skip half a page. Okay, Cornell plucks out one of the eyes of Gloucester. He tries to pluck out the second. Cornell's servant tries to prevent him.
Sorry,
They fight.
doctor. Question.
Do you have a question?
What's the word? Blacks out?
Plucks out. P-L-U-C-K-S out O-U-T.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so they fight, i.e. Cornell and his servant fight. Cornell kills the servant, but the servant stabs Cornell before he dies, and as a result, Cornell will die later on. Okay, so it is, let's say, line 80. First servant, oh, I am slain, i.e. I am killed. To Gloucester, my lord, you have one eye left. to see some mischief on him. Oh, yes, he refers to the fact that he has stabbed Cornell. The first servant dies. Cornell, lest it see more, prevent it. Out, vile jelly. Where is thy luster now? So he plucks out the second eye. Gloucester says, all dark and comfortless. Where is my son Edmund? Edmund, enkindle all the sparks of nature to quit this horrid act. So he is calling on Edmund. He wants Edmund to revenge his father's blindness. So he thinks that Edmund is a really good son. Regan says to him, out, treacherous villain, thou callest on him that hates thee. It was he that made the overture of thy treasons to us, who is too good to pity thee. So Regan tells Gloucester that it is Edmund who has betrayed him. Gloucester, oh my follies, then Edgar was abused. Kind gods, forgive me that, and prosper him. Okay, so Gloucester becomes blind. King Lear becomes mad. And both of them acquire knowledge when they become mad and blind. Okay, Gloucester is now physically blind, but he is not intellectually blind. Now he knows the truth. Now he realizes that Edgar has been wronged. Edgar has been wronged. W-R-O-N-G-E-D. Kind gods, forgive me that and prosper him. So Gloucester admits his mistake. He confesses that he has made a mistake. Okay, so King Lear, Gloucester confesses before he dies, and later on he will meet Edgar, and after he meets Edgar, he forgives Edgar, and he asks Edgar to forgive him. Therefore, he dies as a Christian man. He dies as a Christian man. So King Gloucester has disowned Edgar, just as King Lear has disowned Cordelia. He has violated the natural order. Yes. So King Gloucester confesses that he has made a mistake. And he asks the gods to forgive him. Okay? So that's why he emerges as a Christian man. Okay? And that's why I said the subplot supports the main plot. Okay? So in this case, we can say that Gloucester is the tragic hero of the subplot. Gloucester is the tragic hero of the subplot. And the two plots meet in Edgar. So at the end, the two plots converge when Edgar becomes the king. So Edgar is the king of Gloucester. He is the son of Gloucester, and he is the godson of King Lear. So the values of King Lear, or the values that King Lear and Gloucester uphold, are cherished by Edgar himself. So Gloucester achieves a certain kind of understanding. Okay, Act 4, Scene 1, the very beginning. Okay, so Gloucester is blinded and he is sent out of his castle. Regan says to one of her servants, lead him, take him out, and let him smell his way to Dover. The animal smells his way. So she treats him as a dog. So she wants him to smell his way to Dover. So on the heath, Gloucester meets Edgar. So it is line, let's say 20. Old man. So King Gloucester is led by an old man. And in fact, the old man is one of his own servants. Okay, the old man is Gloucester's servant. He has been the servant of Gloucester and the father of Gloucester for 80 years, according to the old man. So the old man says, Alack, i.e. alas, sir, you cannot see your way. Can you find it? It is line 18 in my edition. Gloucester, I have no way and therefore want no eyes. I stumbled when I saw. Okay, so Gloucester admits that he was an intellectually blind man when he was able to see. This is it. I stumbled when I saw. So he was intellectually blind when he was able to see. Full of the scene, our means secure us, and our mere defects prove our commodities. Ah, dear son Edgar, the food of thy abuses, might I but live to see thee in my touch, I'd say I had eyes again. Okay, so here Gloucester realizes that he has been intellectually blind. Now, after having lost his sight, i.e. his eyes, he can see intellectually, i.e. he can understand what is going on around him. Okay, so here Gloucester understands his own nature. He understands himself. Okay, so earlier on he was totally blind. Now he can see the truth. Okay, line 30. I may skip some lines. Is it a beggar man? Here he is referring to Edgar. Edgar is on the heath. Old man, madman, and beggar to Gloucester. He has some reason, else he couldn't beg. In the last night's storm I such a fellow saw. which made me think a man a worm. My son came then into my mind, and yet my mind was then scarce friends with him. I have heard more since, as flies to wanton boys, are we to the gods. They kill us for their sport. Okay? So Gloucester says he has some reason else he couldn't beg. In the last night's storm, I such a fellow saw, which made me think a man a worm. So Edgar brings Gloucester face to face with the true nature of man. Yes, according to this passage, Gloucester is saying that he met such fellow, i.e. a man like this one yesterday at night, and he made me think a man a worm. So Edgar has brought Gloucester face to face with the true nature of man. In other words, Gloucester has come to the conclusion that man is a vulnerable creature, weak creature. Okay? So man is a vulnerable creature. So man is a weak creature. So if man is stripped of his second nature, he becomes an animal. So the worm is symbolic of animal here. Then as flies to wanton boys, are we to the gods. They kill us for their sport. Okay? So here Gloucester says, man lives at the mercy of the gods. Man lives at the mercy of the gods. Now later on, Albany will say that the gods are just and they punish the evil people. Okay? Man or the gods are just, they punish the evil person. And this is in fact the message that Shakespeare wants to convey. So the gods are just and we cannot attribute our miseries, our bad conditions to the injustice of the gods. Okay, it is Act 4, Scene 2. Act 4, Scene 2. The action takes place at the Palace of Cornwall. The action takes place at the Palace of Albany. I'm sorry, I said Cornwall, Albany. Okay, I will read what Albany says. It is line, let's say 80 or 78. Okay? So the messenger shows up at the palace of Albany, the messenger tells Albany that Gloucester has been blinded by Cornell, and Cornell died as a result of the stab that he got while he was fighting with his servant. Okay? So Albany comments on the death of Cornell saying, this shows you are above, i.e. you the gods. He is addressing the gods here. This shows you are above, you justicers, that these our nether crimes so speedily can venge. But oh, poor Gloucester, lost he his other eye. So according to Albany, the gods are just. They punish the evil people to achieve justice on earth. They punish the evil people to achieve justice on earth. So in this case, Albany's statement contrasts with Gloucester's statement. I will read a passage from Act 4, scene, let's say 6. 149. 149. Okay, it is Gloucester. Now Gloucester is led by his son Edgar. Gloucester wants to commit suicide. He asks Edgar, who pretends to be a mad person. So he asks Edgar to take him to the edge of the cliff so that he will fall down the cliff and die. So Gloucester wants to pray before he dies. Okay? So it is Act 4, scene 6. It is line 35 in my edition. Act 4, scene 6. You may skip one page. It is page 35, Gloucester kneeling. Oh, you mighty gods, this word I do renounce, and in your sight shake patiently my great affliction off. If I could bear it longer and not fall to quarrel with your great opposeless wills, a snuff and loathed part of nature should burn itself. If Edgar live, oh bless him. Okay, so Gloucester forgives Edgar before he dies. Okay, so he kneels and prays to the gods to bless Edgar. Okay, so before he dies, he forgives his son Edgar. Okay, then you may skip one page. Okay, now Gloucester thinks that he is standing at the edge of the cliff. He pushes himself forward, but he falls on the ground. He doesn't die. Okay, then he is brought by Edgar. So Edgar disguises himself as another man. Now he disguises himself as a peasant, not as a mad person. So he takes him to the place where he meets King Lear. We are still reading a part of Act 4, Scene 6. You may skip, I said, one page or 1 page and a half. It is line 95. Gloucester, I know that voice. Gloucester, I know that voice. Lear, ha, Goneril with a white beard. They flattered me like a dog and told me I had white hairs in my beard ere the black ones were there to say aye and no to everything that I said. Aye and no too was no good divinity. When the rain came to wet me, once, and the wind to make me chatter, when the thunder wouldn't peace at my bidding, there I found them. There I smelt them out. Go to. They are not men of their words. They told me I was everything. 'Tis a lie. I am not a goof. Okay? Now, King Lear is obsessed with the idea that he has been mistreated by his daughter Goneril. That's why when he sees Gloucester, he says, ha, Goneril with a white beard, they flattered me like a dog. So in this passage, King Lear realizes that the world of kingship is a world of flattery and hypocrisy. So that's why he says they flattered me like a dog and told me I had white hairs in my beard ere the black ones were there. Now white hair is symbolic of age, i.e. old age. And old age is a symbol of wisdom. So here King Lear is saying that when I was a king, the people used to tell me that I am a wise man. They used to flatter me. So that's why he says they told me I had white hairs in my beard ere the black ones were there. To say I, i.e. yes and no to everything that I said. I and no too was no good divinity. So they used to say yes to what the king said yes and no to what the king said no, only to please him. So they didn't tell him the truth. So here the world of kingship is a world of falsehood.
The following
The
is
world
what we
of
call
kingship has nothing to do with the truth. It is a world of flatterers, hypocrites, and liars. When the rain came to wet me once, and the wind to make me chatter. When the thunder wouldn't peace at my bidding, there I found them, there I smelled them. Go to, they are not men of their words. So when he is stripped of power, he is nothing. So when the king is stripped of his power, he is not obeyed or respected by his subjects. So that's why he says, when the rain came to wet me once, and the wind to make me chatter, when the thunder wouldn't peace at my bidding, i.e., he cannot control the thunder. He is no longer a king, a person who gives orders and is obeyed. Okay? So when he is no longer a king who can give orders, he is deserted. People don't pay attention to him. So King Lear becomes nothing when he is stripped of power. King Lear becomes nothing when he is stripped of power. So this is another kind of understanding. So the word of kingship is a word of flattery, hypocrisy, and lies. Okay? I will leave the discussion at this point. Do you have any questions?
Okay, doctor.
No, doctor. Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you,
doctor.
doctor.
Thank you.
Not at all, not at all. Okay, so we will meet next week, God willing.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Not at all. Thank you. Thank you for attending.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.